Gilliard and the Pledge of Allegiance.
Good evening, good evening. Good evening, sir. Let's pray. Our Heavenly Father, as always, we honor you. We give you all praise and we give you all the glory. And we're so thankful for how you have blessed us since the last time we were in a commissioners meeting. And as always, we ask a blessing for our commissioners and their families. Continue to look on them, lead and guide them as they go through this agenda and make the best decisions for the citizens of Nassau County. Continue to bless those that support them through the county attorney's office and county manager's office. And we always ask prayer for our first responders and for the military that serve this country. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America.
Commissioner Hutman,
Here.
Commissioner Gray,
Here.
Commissioner Farmer,
Here.
Commissioner Martin,
Here.
Chair McCullough.
Here. Any expansion or deletions to the agenda, Mr. County Manager?
No, ma'am, not tonight, thank you.
Madam Attorney?
I have none, thank you.
Thank you. Proclamations and resolutions of the Board of County Commissioners. Tab A, approve a proclamation of the Board of County Commissioners of Nassau County, Florida, proclaiming April 2026 as Sexual Assault Awareness Month. Mr. Hutman?
Make a
We'll do
motion to approve tab A, ma'am.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Hutman, seconded by Commissioner Martin. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. And Mr. Hutman, will you please do the proclamation for us this evening?
In that case, I'll just read it into the record. A proclamation of the Board of County Commissioners of Nassau County, Florida, Sexual Assault Awareness Month, April 2026.
Here.
Commissioner Martin,
Here.
Any expansion or deletions to the agenda resolutions of the Board of County Commissioners? Tab A, approve a proclamation of the Board of County Commissioners of Nassau County, Florida, proclaiming April 2026 as Sexual Assault.
And whereas, we renew our commitment to building a future free from sexual violence. Together, we can continue to strengthen prevention, support healing, create communities where everyone feels safe and valued. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed on this 23rd day of March, 2026, by the Board of County Commissioners, Nassau County, Florida, that one, the board joins advocates and community members in raising awareness about sexual assault, working to build a future free from sexual violence. Two, the board hereby proclaims April 2026 as Sexual Assault Awareness Month. Signed for the Board of County Commissioners by Allison McCullough, its chair, and attested to by County Attorney Denise May. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Hutman. Tab B, approve a proclamation of the Board of County Commissioners of Nassau County, Florida, proclaiming April 2026 as Landscape Architecture Month and April 1st, 2026 as Landscape Architecture Day.
Madam Chair,
Mr. Gray.
motion to approve tab B.
Second?
Motion made by Commissioner Gray, seconded by Commissioner Hutman. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed say nay. Mr. Gray, will you please do our Landscape Architecture Day proclamation?
Yes, ma'am, Madam Chair. Is anyone here to meet at the podium?
Oh, yeah.
This, please come forward. Design and stewardship of the natural and built environment, translating vision into action to shape the places that are healthy, safe, and resilient. And whereas Wednesday, April 1st, 2026 is recognized as Professional Landscape Architectural Day, celebrating the licensed professionals whose expertise in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics is essential to the infrastructure and quality of life. And whereas during Landscape Architectural Month, celebrated under the theme Landscape Architecture in Action, we recognize the profession's tangible impact on parks, streetscapes, campuses, and public spaces across our urban and suburban and rural communities. And whereas, as the United States approaches America 250 years, we recognize that landscape architectures have historically shaped and continue
Motion carries. And Mr. Hutman, will you please do the proclamation for us this evening?
and playgrounds to complex stormwater and transportation systems are all designed with technical rigor and ethical responsibility. And whereas the economy of Nassau County is strengthened by the work of licensed landscape architects and the accredited programs at Florida International University and the University of Florida, who together both foster tourism, economic development, and environmental protection. Now therefore be it proclaimed, this 23rd day of March 2026 by the Board of County Commissioners of Nassau County, Florida, that 1, the board calls upon all citizens to celebrate landscape architecture in action and the essential role landscape architects play in shaping a resilient, safe, and enduring American landscape as we move forward America into 250 years. 2, the board hereby proclaims April 2026 as Landscape Architecture Month and April 1st, 2026 as Landscape Architectural Day. And this is signed by the Board of County Commissioners, our chair, Ms. Allison McCullough, and it's approved to form by our Nassau County attorney, Ms. Denise C. May. Congratulations, sir. You look like you're very photogenic, so now stand beside me. Would you like to say something? Sure.
Thank you.
Hey, my name is John Corman. I'm a landscape architect with England, Timms and Miller, and I've been a county resident for almost 30 years, and I appreciate you guys recognizing this.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Tab C, approve a proclamation of the Board of County Commissioners of Nassau County, Florida, proclaiming April 6th through 12th, 2026 as Florida Public Health Week.
Madam Chair,
Mr. Martin.
move to approve tab C.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Martin, seconded by Commissioner Farmer. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Martin.
Crowd come out there. Proclamation of the Board of County Commissioners of Nassau County, Florida, April 6th through 12th, 2026, Florida Public Health Week. Whereas the week of April 6th through April 12th, 2026 is Florida Public Health Week, an opportunity to promote and raise awareness of important public health topics and engage with local communities. And whereas the Florida Department of Health in Nassau County uses Florida Public Health Week to highlight programs, initiatives, and resources specific to Nassau County. And whereas data-driven insights are used to establish statewide health priorities, such as injury and violence prevention, chronic disease prevention, Alzheimer's disease awareness, mental well-being, and substance abuse prevention, and maternal and child health. And whereas residents are reminded to prepare for hurricane season by having a medical plan set ahead of time, as well as understanding what a special needs shelter is and how to pre-register. And whereas recognizing and celebrating the expertise, commitment to serving others, and resilience of the public health professionals who work to protect and improve the lives of Floridians. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed this 23rd day of March 2026 by the Board of County Commissioners of Nassau County, Florida, that the board encourages residents, healthcare providers, community organizations, and local businesses to participate in activities that promote public health and wellness. The board hereby proclaims the week of April 6th through 12th, 2026 as Florida Public Health Week in Nassau County, Florida. And it is signed by our chair, Commissioner Allison McCullough, and attested to by our county attorney, Denise May.
I just would like to say thank you for your support for the Nassau County Department of Health and the work that these professionals do behind us. We strive every day to make Nassau County more healthy and to become the healthiest county in the state. So I appreciate the support of all of the professionals that do the work day in and day out. Thank you.
Tab D, approve a proclamation of the Board of County Commissioners of Nassau County, Florida, proclaiming March 29th, 2026 as Education and Sharing Day.
Madam Chair,
Mr. Farmer.
motion to approve.
Second?
Motion made by Commissioner Farmer, seconded by Commissioner Hupman. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed say nay. Motion carries. Mr. Farmer, will you do the presentation for us?
It's my understanding that no one is here today for this, so we're just going to read it into the record. It's a proclamation of the Board of County Commissioners of Nassau County, Florida, Education and Sharing Day. Whereas the basis for the continuity of any society is education. In the great state of Florida, the education of our youth is a priority. And whereas, in order to achieve its highest goals, education must not only impart knowledge, but also teach the students how to live, forming and strengthening their character to make a better life for themselves as individuals and for society as a whole, imparting values that have been the bedrock of society since the dawn of civilization. And whereas such an education can nurture the unity of diverse peoples through encouraging increased acts of goodness and kindness, imbued with the awareness that even a single positive act of an individual can change the world and usher in an era of global peace. And whereas Education and Sharing Day is observed annually in honor of the Rabbi Menachem M. Schneerson, in recognition of his outstanding and lasting contributions towards the improvement of education, morality, and acts of charity around the world. And whereas March 29, 2026 will mark 124 years since the Rabbi's birth, providing a day to pause and reflect on our responsibility to ensure our youth have the foundation necessary to lead lives rich in purpose and fulfillment through service and good work. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that the Board of County Commissioners of Nassau County, Florida, on this 23rd day of March 2026, hereby designates March 29, 2026, as Education and Sharing Day in Nassau County. We call upon government officials, educators, volunteers, and citizens to reach out to those within their communities and work to create a better, brighter, and more hopeful future for all. Signed by Allison McCullough, the Chair, and Denise May, the Nassau County Attorney. Thank you.
That will take us to the consent agenda. If any board member wishes to move a consent item to new business, please do so now. If any member of the public wants to speak on a consent item, most of mine are for specific tabs, so I'm going to assume nobody wants to speak on the consent agenda.
Madam Chair,
Yes, sir, Mr. Martin.
I move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Martin, seconded by Commissioner Farmer. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion carries. That will take us to new business. Any member of the public may address any item under new business at this time. The time limit is 3 minutes each. I do have a card for tab M, or tab N. Okay, N, I'm looking here, okay. Tab M, approve the Nassau County Transportation Plan endorsing authority to transport persons in crisis due to mental and/or substance use conditions as required by Florida Statute, Chapter 394.462.
Madam Chair, do you have a speaker?
I do not.
You do
It's
not. I'll
tab
make
N.
a motion to approve tab M.
Second?
Motion made by Commissioner Gray, seconded by Commissioner Hupman. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion carries. Tab N, approve and authorize the chair to sign change order number 2 to contract number CN 3944 with Anderson Columbia Co. for the construction work and materials for County Road 121 Phase 1 resurfacing and safety improvements project in the amount of $2,387,121,061. And Mr., oh, go ahead.
No, I
Okay.
have nothing.
I did ask Mr. Companion, our road engineer, to give a briefing for the board. We discussed this at winter strategic planning session and to go over some of those things in the contract.
Absolutely, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Mr.
Commissioners,
King.
before you tonight, change order, of course, for Anderson Columbia. We talked about it at winter strategic planning session. The project does have available funding still within its budget. So this is not an ask for a new allocation, but it is an ask for an MOT change order to add the additional MOT to provide a little bit more convenience for the folks that are living out on 121 having to deal with the construction out there. What you have right now is under the current plan, see if this will progress forward. Right now, there's three options that we have basically looked at in analyzing the situation out there, the MOT. The current as-planned version is no change. In this option, all properties still have access. They still can get to their properties. There is a maximum detour length of about 20 miles for the duration of the project for some folks, depending on where they're at on 121 and which direction they're heading, whether they're heading to Callahan or heading to Jacksonville. However, with that said, that currently conforms with all state and federal regulations, so nothing is actually, out of bounds as far as state and federal regulations as far as this option. With that said, we did go back and look at, best management practices that are used throughout the state and throughout the nation. And there is an option 2 here, and this is what's before you tonight to consider, which would provide an alternate additional, leaving one lane open during the duration of the construction. The only segments that we're not able to address within this would be the segment between Stokes Road and County Road 119. This will add roughly 120 contract days to the contract to do this option. It will add $2.3 million to this, to the contract with Anderson Columbia. There will be roughly 150 days where that segment between Stokes Road and 119 would be closed. However, the detour, depending on which way you're going, is somewhere around 15 miles as compared to the 20 miles that was, 20 miles plus that was in the do-nothing option or remain as is option. Again, the whole purpose of this project is to reconstruct County Road 121 from the base up. There's nearly $30 million worth of funding that has gone towards reconstructing 121, and we know that there's actually going to be more needed, especially as we move further north. This particular segment from Duval County to 119 is in the $20 million mark after you add in the design and the CEI costs. So the option that we're proposing, again, based on looking at the national best management practices, state best management practices, is this option. There is a third option that would, again, add another 30 days onto that contract time, so a total of 150 days. It will cost over $4 million by the time you add in CEI costs, but you'll still have 42 days worth of downtime, even with this option, for the cross culverts that must be replaced. Now, there are places where you've probably seen at great expense an additional bridge or something being constructed across wetlands here. These were not, these things would be added on to this greater than $4 million cost to mitigate for potential wetlands to build another structure. So $4 million is kind of the starting point if we were to explore that and still have 42 days of duration that you would be down unless you went further with those, above and beyond the $4 million. So based on the cost-benefit analysis and looking at best management practices across the state and nation, this option was not recommended by staff based on what we're actually going to get, what the benefit is to the citizens in compared to the additional cost for the project.
Because you'll still have that full closure for the
For
40 days.
42 days,
Okay.
yes, ma'am. So with that, I'm here to answer any questions. Again, the current option, all three are possible. We will need to seek additional funding. It's not budgeted for right now if we exceed and go to option 3. But all 3 options presented tonight, again, meet state and federal regulations. You could choose that we stick with the contract as is, and that, again, would still meet the state and federal regulations. This option, again, as staff reviewed any possible way to provide you know, a little bit less of a detour length and time frame duration for the folks that live out there. Option 2 was the option that stood out to us as the most viable and still remained within the project's budget.
Will you put that one back up, please, Mr. Companion?
Yes, ma'am.
We have three options, and correct me if I'm wrong. If one of the three have to be chosen tonight because of the timeline within, there's no going back to the drawing board, we're not,
We are in the middle of
we have to
construction
either
right
do
now.
number 1 or 2 or 3.
Yeah, and that, if number 3 was selected, we would still have to make some changes and do some things on our side, but we could probably fit those within the contract time without additional costs rising. But if we do anything beyond 1, 2, or 3, it would take, you know, more significant planning and permitting, re-permitting with some of the agencies out there for the, yeah, you would stall the project and add significant costs beyond the $4 million.
Okay. Any other questions from Mr. Companion?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, sir, Mr. Martin.
Through Chair, Mr. Companion, so under all three options, fire, rescue, emergency management services, everybody's got access. I mean, we're gonna show up. Do you know if there's a significant effect on response time?
So we have anticipated that. We've had discussions with the chief, and, you know, there is a fire station in Baldwin. We have a mutual aid agreement with Jacksonville, and they're actually closer to most of the folks on 121 than our Station 60 is, especially those folks that would be south of the detour, that our fire station would take 119 and head south on 121. The mutual aid there, down in Jacksonville are aware of it, and they're more than willing and already agreed with us that they would lend aid whenever needed, so they can get that, actually a quicker response time than most of those folks would see today, just based on the location of those fire stations. So we have anticipated and planned for those emergency situations.
And what about folks with special needs? Everybody's able to get to and from their home. It's just with option 2, for some homes in that,
Yep.
between Stokes and County Road 119, it's gonna be a little, just under 15-mile detour,
Yes, there would be
depending on
additional.
where they're coming and going from.
Yes, sir, sorry, I didn't mean to.
No,
interrupt
that's
you.
all right, that's all right. So I know it's not ideal for the folks that live there, but it's not like they're stranded.
No, access to all properties, I mean, you may have to plan ahead a little bit for the additional 15 to 20 minute. You know, something similar can happen if you were north of Stokes Road, you could be delayed that much just by a train crossing at 119. So, planning ahead for the duration just during that time frame. Otherwise, during that time frame, you know, there will always be some way to continue through 121.
That's all I have, thank you.
Mr. Gray? Oh, I
No,
thought you were
not
turning my
yourself.
attention, okay. I do have, any other questions for Mr. Companion?
Madam
Oh,
Chair, I'm
yes, sir,
sorry.
Mr. Hutland.
Mr. Companion, when we activate that mutual aid agreement with the Baldwin Station, do we coordinate with the 911 to ensure that there's a relay?
So the fire station
Yeah.
themselves will, the more serious calls that timing is an issue,
Yes,
they
sir.
already know and have already been put on notice by the chief.
Okay.
He's here tonight with us, I believe, to speak on that item if
No,
need to, but we've had multiple discussions even when we were planning the project of how to address these issues.
I appreciate that. I just wanted to say it out loud to ensure that we had thought about that and we didn't leave people guessing if we were guessing.
Absolutely.
Thank you, sir, for the clarity.
Yes, sir. Chief Rigdon and myself and Robert have had multiple conversations about that mutual aid and the dispatch, so definitely. Okay, thank you, Mr. Campania. I do
Absolutely.
truly appreciate that dialogue.
Yes, ma'am.
I do have a speaker card for tab M, Mr. Gary Haydu.
I'm good? Okay. Well, I had a whole thing. I appreciate you speaking first.
Oh, your name and address,
Oh,
Mr. Haydu.
I'm Gary. I'm at 5732 Briceville, Florida. Gary Haydu. I had a whole speech written. It's about the 121 project. Obviously, we all know it's a very complex project. I don't agree. I think it should go back to the drawing board. We've talked about this before. You are going to cut off the residents. You are going to create a life safety issue for all of us. And I'm going to talk about the Duval County line. When that gets shut down, our only fire rescue has to come from Briceville, which automatically puts it at 20 to 25 minutes to get to the southern end of our area, where typically we could get from, like you mentioned, the Jacksonville Fire Department out of Baldwin. If that's closed, we don't have that option. If a train is sitting across the railroad tracks at 119 and 301, we're not getting any aid. We are stuck. It could be indefinite time. It could be 45 minutes. We've had trains sit there before for 30 minutes. We have no way out. Has anybody talked about building some kind of structure around this bridge? Because we understand that the head wall is not wide enough. We've talked about that in prior meetings. We do it all the time. We do shoring, we expand the road, make it wide enough to make it safe to work on for the employees. There's no reason why we should be shutting this road down, any portions of it. Then you want to talk about north of Stokes Road to 119, that's another problem. What's going to happen to our school buses? We have students that are south of that. We've already been told that potentially us parents would have to bring our students to school. Well, that's not feasible for a lot of us. We all work. A lot of our students are old enough to be at home to go to school by themselves. So you're asking us to compromise, but we don't believe you're working with us. I'm more focused on the life safety side of it. I think this hasn't been researched enough. I think there's a lot of we don't cares, and us as residents, we care. And there was another lady that was going to try to make here to talk tonight, but I don't think she's going to make it in time. But I'm passionate about this. Everybody knows that, and I'm here tonight to say that. But I appreciate everything you've done, but I really think you should say no to this. That's all I got.
Thank you, Mr. Hedy. Mr. Companion, do you mind me asking you 2 more questions, Mr. Companion?
Not at all. Absolutely.
At the road closure, we still have that, the Chief Rigdon has ensured we have all the safety times within compliance, correct?
That's correct, yeah. And
Yes.
I think the issue brought up, if you live on the south end of 121, unless there's a house fire situation now or a serious call, that's usually when they activate that mutual aid agreement. And of course, they're gonna find any way to get to the residents that they can. If you have a train crossing now, 60 wouldn't be the fastest one to get there. The issue, the concern is if we're closing that cross drain, as I understand it, that's near the Duval County line, that's the issue there that I think Mr. Haydu brought up. I'm not sure exactly when that mutual aid agreement would be brought up, but I would have to defer to the chief on what other options he would have to address if if it's a planned closure, we can do things. We've done things in the past where we've stationed apparatuses on the other side of railroad tracks when they've closed, when CSX does work. So this won't be a situation where the road just shuts down and fire rescue's unaware. So there are ways to prepare for that and to plan for that. So I don't believe that that would go unaddressed.
And
It wouldn't
secondly,
go
I know,
unaddressed.
for the record, because you and I talked about it in our discussions, with the building the side road, I know that the permitting and the mitigations and there was so many wetlands, and this is a contract with the state. Will you touch on that real
Yes.
quick, Mr.
Yeah, so you'd
Companion?
have to go back through the permitting process, wetland impacts and mitigation. Right now, 1 credit just for mitigation, not actual any construction or anything of if you impact a wetland anywhere. 1 credit is somewhere in the range of $250,000, $250,000 just for the credit. That doesn't actually get you anything other than offsetting that mitigation somewhere else. So there's a lot of cost and the time frame while you have a contractor that's currently working out in the field. So again, that's why I say without increased costs, one of the 3 options that were presented are the 3 options that you have.
Okay, yes.
Unless, again, staff works at your direction, we would do whatever we're directed to do, but would highly advise against that based on the fact that you have a contractor out there working today, that every day is an additional cost for not only them, but the CEI firm that's overseeing the project as well.
And tab 1 is still within compliance. Even if
That's
we do
correct.
nothing, we're still within the contractual compliance.
That's right.
Okay, yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Companion.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, I have no other speaker cards. Go ahead,
Yeah,
Mr. Hedy.
Madam Chair, I wouldn't mind hearing from the chief, if the chief is in the room, I see him in there. Chief, would you mind a moment
Thank you, Mr.
for the professional reassurance and, in your opinion?
Good Good evening, Commissioners.
Hi, Chief.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, related to the times, and as appreciate that the engineer alluded to, in the past, we have moved apparatus. That would continue to be the case in
So
in
we
these
have,
cases.
we have Station 60 in Briceville, we have Station 90 up on State Road 2 near St. George. Those are the two stations from our department that would respond to that area. Now, anything south of that closure is obviously going to be a little bit of a delay. The station from 60 in Briceville could go through Baldwin, but I've spoken with the chief in Jacksonville, spoken with the assistant chief in Jacksonville. They have a station in downtown Baldwin, and they're more than happy to help us through this transition period. All we've got to do is let them know we're working with our dispatch people. Talked to Chief Castile this afternoon again about what we got to do to make this a seamless transition. And hopefully, once this closure starts in May, we'll be more than ready to tackle it. So,
Thank you.
yes, there's going to be a little bit of an inconvenience, but
I understand. Again, public safety is the issue, and it sounds to me like we're addressing that on all the points we
we're
can.
doing as much as we can, yes, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Chief. I mean,
Ball's in your court, Madam Chair.
I mean, we have no further discussion. Correct, okay, I'm just gonna say, I'm gonna make a motion as the chair to approve and authorize the chair to sign. Can I can, right, Ms. May?
According to your board policies and procedures, the chair is like any other and can make a motion.
Okay.
Okay, I just meant, you said the ball was in my court, Mr. Martin, so,
I did.
okay.
Maybe a bad choice of words.
I'm dribbling and shooting?
I didn't say that.
Okay. I'm gonna approve and authorize for myself, the chair, to sign the change order number 2 to contract CM 3944 with Anderson, Columbia County, Columbia Construction Incorporated for construction work and materials for the County Road 121 Phase 1 resurfacing and safety improvements project in the amount of $2,387,121.61.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner McCullough, seconded by Commissioner Hupman. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed say nay. Motion carries. Tab O, approve and authorize the chair to sign CM 4116 with KBT Contracting Corporation for the construction of Evan Rendezvous infrastructure repairs in the amount of $383,000.
Madam Chair,
Mr. Gray.
motion to approve tab O.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Gray, seconded by Commissioner Hupman. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed say nay. Tab P, approve finance package 2026-8 and associated budget transfers and resolutions.
Move to approve tab P.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Martin, seconded by Commissioner Hupman. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion carries. I know Mr. Haydu is still in the audience. I do want to speak to tab N ever so quickly. We went to tab O. There was a parliamentary procedure clause there, but given 3 options, as somebody who lives in District 4 and represents District 4, I did not want it to go option number 1, where we do nothing. And I cannot justify spending $5, $6, $7, $8 million for one single phase road project. Option 2 benefits all 5 districts of taxpayers in Nassau County. It benefits all of the residents. I'm thankful to Chief Rigdon. We've had multiple discussions and email correspondence between myself and the county manager. Robert, thank you for you and your team for working to get through this. Now that a lot of the things residents don't understand is because the contract is live and we are working, time is of the essence. We have to mitigate back and forth with the state with everything through funding. And I just think this is a resolution that, and I'm grateful for the board's support for tab N. Legislative public hearings. Sorry, I'm coming over to here. Tab Q, approve finance package.
Madam Chair, would you like me to read the procedures first?
Yes, ma'am.
I mean, sure, if you want to, Ms. May, sure. I thought the ball's in my court.
Yes, ma'am. So tab Q through S are legislative hearings, and the procedures here are in place to give all who wish to speak for or against the item an opportunity to do so. Those wishing to speak in favor of or against the item being considered will have 3 minutes to address the board. All statements should be addressed to the board and only the item under consideration. Speakers should not engage in personal attacks on other speakers, staff, or board members. Speakers must begin by stating their name and address for the record. Please do not be repetitive or restate the same information as prior speakers. Sharing or transferring of time is not allowed. The clerk will control the time. Again, that time is 3 minutes. Any speaker with documents as a part of their presentation will present them to the deputy clerk. They do become a part of the permanent record. The meeting's being recorded, so please no applause, outbursts, or talking, as it does distort that recording. The board will then close the public hearing and discuss the item under consideration. You may ask questions of other speakers and staff. The board will then deliberate and vote on the item before them. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Madam Attorney. Tab Q, approve finance package 2026-7 and associated resolutions to carry forward funds and make adjustments from the closeout of fiscal year 2024-2025 based upon cash carry forward calculations and to amend various revenues in the current year. I'm going to open the floor for discussion for tab Q. Staff presentation.
Thank you, Madam Chair. As we've heard in the prior meetings, the closeout of our audited financials from our separate auditor. We're at the next step of doing the cash carry forward for the budget process. So as we know on the cash carry forward, our transactions don't always fit nice and neat within a fiscal year and are not always concluded by September 30th. And so where the board has already made motions to allocate budget for certain projects, different activities within a fiscal year, if those activities are not completed within that year, they still continue, and we cash carry forward those revenues and expenditures into the next fiscal year to be able to complete the projects. The action this evening is to complete many of those things to adjust the budget, move them forward from last fiscal year 24-25 into the current fiscal year for completion.
Thank you. I'll now call to the podium speakers for tab Q. Seeing as I have none, board questions for staff or members of the audience.
Madam Chair,
Yes, sir, Mr. Martin.
are you looking for a motion also if there's no?
I'm going to close the floor first. Board deliberation, if any, or an motion.
Madam Chair,
Yes, sir.
based on a review of the applicable testimony and evidence provided, my motion is to approve finance package 2026-7 and associated resolutions.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Martin, seconded by Commissioner Farmer. Madam Clerk, will you call the vote?
Commissioner Gray,
Yes.
Commissioner Farmer,
Yes.
Commissioner Martin,
Yes.
Commissioner Hutman,
Yes.
Chair McCullough.
Yes.
That's 5 ayes, 0 nays. Your motion carries.
Tab R, public hearing to adopt an ordinance amending Chapter 4, Section 4-9 of the Code of Ordinances regarding alcohol consumption in public spaces. Staff presentation and discussion.
Good evening, Madam Chair and Commissioners, and we'll work here to find, seems to be a lot of things, but not mine. There it is. And I guess I need to click slideshow, I'm not sure. Here we go. All right. You gave us direction back in January to make a small change to our current ordinance for alcohol consumption in public places. And that is a short-term gap change to allow for us as the county and as the West Side Regional comes on, and for the judiciary to actually consume alcoholic beverages that are permitted. This is in recognition of the value of community-wide events to be held on county property, especially as we start programming for the West Side Regional Park, and a hosting of special events, seminars, and other functions held by the county, as we did with our bicentennial, and as the judiciary does for Inns of Court and other special teen court and other sessions that they may have out there. The proposed updates revise the exceptions to duly licensed and permitted consumption of alcoholic beverages on your county property for the duration of the approved function, event, or celebration, but only during the duration of those events as they happen. So it's not an everyday, all-day selling or consuming of alcohol. Here's the proposed updates to your ordinance, and in the red, and I hope that would turn out better, but just to be sure you can read it, it adds an exception of the county or judiciary for county or judiciary approved functions, events, or celebrations for the duration of said events. And it puts that exception both at A, for the consumption of beer, wine, and other alcohol, and in the unlawful section, except for those same events. So the language is the same, they're minor. As we continue to work towards a more comprehensive parks and recreation and permitting function that would allow for other sales on your property, this is a short-term gap only for our events or judiciary events. And that's really all that you have before you. Do I have any questions or other?
Any questions? I'll now call to the podium those who have completed a public comment card for tab R. Board questions for staff or members of the audience? I'm going to close the floor. Board deliberation, or I will entertain a motion.
Madam Chair,
Mr. Hutman.
based on the review of the applicable testimony and evidence provided, my motion is to approve the ordinance 2026-027.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Hutman, seconded by Commissioner Martin.
Yeah. Yeah, that's correct. I'm sorry. Yes, correct. Thank you.
Madam Clerk, will you call the vote?
Commissioner Farmer?
Yes.
Commissioner Gray?
Yes.
Commissioner Hutman?
Yes.
Commissioner Martin?
Yes.
Chair McCullough?
Yes.
5 ayes, 0 nays. Your motion carries.
Tab S, consider and approve CPA 25-030 and ordinance 2026-012, an amendment to the future land use map of approximately 0.12 acres located west of Katana Drive between State Road 200 and Henderson Avenue from commercial to urban transition zone T-3.5. John Cabell, owner, Nassau County, Agent District 3. Staff presentation. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. I'm looking for the presentation here.
You're okay.
Ms. Devereaux is coming to the rescue.
That new name.
Okay.
I get to be first to call her that on the record.
Yeah,
there
new
you go.
name,
Yeah, it's
new
on the
name.
record.
Oh,
Good evening, Commissioners.
That was quick.
Will Ryder, Planning Department.
Good evening.
Commissioner Farmer, nice jacket.
Evening, thank you, sir. You got the memo.
Good. This is a request to rezone 2 parcels totaling approximately, no, this is not the right presentation.
no, it should be .012 acres. We will get to that one.
There we go. Yep, this is a request to, as Ms. May just stated, is a request to amend the future land use map of a lot that's approximately 1/10 of an acre from commercial COM to urban transitional zone T-3.5, which is a district in the Timber to Tides Design Overlay. You see the lot depicted here in red, just west of the Minor Road intersection, pretty close to Kutana's intersection with SR 200. All of this yellow area is T-3.5. You can see in the close-up that there's a manufactured home that's been removed. It's not there anymore, which is significant because of this incompatibility with the commercial land use and the open rural zoning. Nothing can be put in here. So a single-family home could be installed here, and that's likely what the owner would like to do. Consistency with the comprehensive plan. This is an infill opportunity, allows low-density and mixed-use development. So T-3.5 is a mixed-use district, but it has a minimum housing requirement of 5 units per acre. So you figure 1/10 of an acre, 1 unit, there's not much else that could be done unless it were combined with something else, with other properties. Situated in established low-density neighborhood, so it's compatible with the surrounding land uses, and it adheres to the desired development patterns in accordance with Flume 11, or Timber to Tides Design Regulating Map. Staff finds it's consistent with the comprehensive plan, and more importantly, the Planning and Zoning Board did as well, unanimously 6-0 at their last meeting.
Board questions for staff members? I'm going to close the floor for public discussion. Board deliberation, or I'll entertain a motion.
Madam Chair,
Mr. Gray?
based upon the record, evidence, and testimony received, I find that the plan amendment is consistent with policy FL 0102J1, policy FL 0206C1, policy FL 0206D, and policy FL 0104A through G of the Nassau County Comprehensive Plan. And therefore, a motion is to approve CPA 25-030, Madam Chair. Second.
Motion.
Absolutely, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Mr.
Commissioners,
King.
before you tonight, change order, of course, for Anderson Columbia. We talked about it at Winter Strategic Planning Session. The project does have available funding still within its budget. So this is not an ask for a new allocation, but it is an ask for an MOT change order to add the additional MOT to provide a little bit more convenience for the folks that are living out on 121, having to deal with the construction out there. What you have right now is under the current plan, let's see if this will progress forward. Right now, there's three options that we have basically looked at in analyzing the situation out there. The MOT, the current as-planned version is no change. In this option, all properties still have access. They still can get to their properties. There is a maximum detour length of about 20 miles for the duration of the project for some folks, depending on where they're at on 121 and which direction they're heading, whether they're heading to Callahan or heading to Jacksonville. However, with that said, that currently conforms with all state and federal regulations, so nothing is actually, out of bounds as far as state and federal regulations as far as this option. With that said, we did go back and look at, best management practices that are used throughout the state and throughout the nation. And there is an option 2 here, and this is what's before you tonight to consider.
And will be sworn in. They will have 3 minutes each to provide testimony and present evidence to the board. Extensions of time may only be granted through the chair. Sharing or transferring the time is not allowed. Public participants presenting evidence for or against the application will address the board at the podium. Any documents or photographed will be submitted to the deputy clerk. They will become part of the permanent record. The applicant or representative will have a maximum of 10 minutes for cross-examination or rebuttal. Staff will have 5 minutes to provide final comments. The board will then close the public hearing and discuss the application. Any motion of the board should include whether the board member finds competent substantial evidence in the record and/or testimony received to support your decision to approve or deny the agenda item. Again, the meeting's being recorded, so please, no applause, outbursts, or talking. If there are any questions in regards to these procedures, you may ask them at this time. Seeing none, Madam Chair, you may continue.
Tab T, consider and approve R 25-024 and ordinance 2026-013, the rezoning of approximately 0.12 acres located west of Cutana Drive between State Road 200 and Henderson Avenue from open rural to urban transitional zone T3.5. John Cadell, owner, Nassau County Agent, District 3. Ex parte closure as to tab T. Ex parte disclosure includes emails, letters, site visits, and any form of communication. Disclosure shall include who the communication was with and the nature of the communication. Disclosure should state the substance of the communication. Mr. Martin?
I have none.
Mr. Farmer?
None.
Mr. Hutman?
None?
Mr. Gray?
None.
And I have none, Madam Clerk. Madam Clerk, will you identify the documents to be placed into the record for tab T?
Documents submitted into the record for application R 25-24, application 10 pages, supplemental staff report 6 pages, planning and zoning staff report 6 pages, draft ordinance 3 pages, business impact estimate 2 pages, executed planning and zoning motion 1 page, planning and zoning board presentation 12 pages, and supplemental presentation 12 pages.
Move to accept the documents into the record.
Second?
Motion to approve, seconded by Commissioner Hutman. Motion made by Commissioner Martin, seconded by Commissioner Hutman. Do you have to call the vote on that one? It's all in favor to accept. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, say nay. I will open the public hearing for tab T, staff presentation.
Do you swear affirm the testimony you're about to give in this matter is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Okay, please state your name and title for the record.
Will Ryder, Planning Department.
Thank you.
Good evening again, Commissioners. So this is a request to rezone the lot that we just considered in the previous amendment to the future land use map, a tenth of an acre lot from open rural to urban transitional. And this property is just west of Minor Road, situated in the T35 district, in accordance with Flume 11. And again, here's a close-up of the lot of the mobile home that was previously there and has since been removed. Current land use is commercial, current zoning is open rural. Actually, based on your last action, it's now T35. So zoning this to T35 in conjunction with what was just considered will align, fix that compatibility, and make this small lot developable. Here's a list of the permitted use examples. The main one here being residential single-family, based on the size of the lot, though these other things could come into play. If the property were sold at some point and consolidated as something larger, which would be appropriate, you're asked to consider the land use for everything here with what's permitted in the district, which would also be appropriate since it fronts on SR 200. And it's in accordance with the T35, with the Flume 11. Continue to look at the permitted uses. It's a mixed-use district, conditional uses. Again, same speech I would give that I just gave for the permitted uses. As far as its consistency with the comprehensive plan, we looked at that on the previous item, but again, the subject property is designated T35 on the land use regulating map. The property is undevelopable due to the current Flume zoning incompatibility. Rezoning that enables the development of a vacant lot. Need and justification for change, again, aligning the zoning district with the Flume. It's situated in an existing single-family neighborhood. If that's what were to occur, it would be compatible with the adjacent uses and the surrounding uses. And any development would be subject to county codes, and future improvements will be reviewed to ensure no environmentally sensitive lands or historical or culturally significant lands are adversely impacted. Planning Commission unanimously recommended approval. This was consistent with the comprehensive plan and land development code, specifically the criteria for rezoning. I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
I will now call to the podium those who've completed a public comment card. Do we have any cross-examination or rebuttal to tab T? Final.
I take it you had no public
I
comment.
did not, no ma'am, not for tab T, only for tab U. I have two for tab U, and then this one says Scrub J Lane, but this is not Scrub J Lane,
I'm not-
correct?
No, this is.
Miss Melissa Rambowski, this, you do not want to speak on tab T, do you? Okay, thank you, okay. Just because this did not say Scrub J Lane, so I didn't.
Could you, I'm not sure if she's just looking at general public comment or if she's on a tab. Does she know which tab she wishes to speak to?
Do you know what tab you're wishing to speak to?
Then it's a general public comment.
Oh, general public, thank you, okay, thank you. It was given to me
They
just
need
now.
to
and I thought-
identify,
Okay.
they need to identify for you what they wish to speak upon.
That's fine, I'm gonna put it at the end of the stack and stick with my tab Us. I will ask for final comments from staff, board questions. I'm gonna close the public hearing for tab T. Board deliberation, or I will entertain a motion for approval or denial of our 25-024, I apologize.
You're doing fine,
I know.
Madam Chair. Slow
I
down.
was,
You're doing
I
good.
was reading RSTU on these tab cards, Jeff, and I
It's
could not get
okay.
it right.
I've been there and done that.
Yes.
So, okay. All right. So, Madam Chair, I'd like to present a motion, please, for approval of tab T. Based upon the records and evidence and testimony received, I find that there is competent substantial evidence pursuant to policy FL 0102J1, policy FL 0206C1, and policy FL 0206D, policy FL 0806A through G of the Nassau County Comprehensive Plan, and section 5.02C and section 502D 1 through 8 of the Nassau County Land Development Code, and therefore my motion is to approve R 25-024. Madam Chair.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Gray, seconded by Commissioner Martin. Madam Clerk, will you call the vote?
Commissioner Hutman,
Yes.
Commissioner Martin,
Yes.
Commissioner Farmer,
Yes.
Commissioner Gray,
Yes.
Chair McCullough.
Yes.
That's 5 ayes, 0 nays. Your motion carries.
Tab U, consider and approve R 25-025 and ordinance 2026-025, the rezoning of approximately 1.43 acres located on the west side of Drury Road at its intersection with Sadler Road from residential single-family to commercial CG. Sadler Fernandina LLC owner, Spurgeon Richardson, agent, District 1. Ex parte, Mr. Martin?
None.
Mr. Farmer?
None.
Mr. Hutman?
None.
Mr. Gray?
None.
And I have none. Madam Clerk, will you identify the documents to be placed into the record for tab U?
Documents submitted into the record for application R 25-25, application 33 pages, supplemental staff report 5 pages, planning and zoning staff report 5 pages, draft ordinance 4 pages, business impact estimate 2 pages, executed planning and zoning motion 1 page, planning and zoning presentation 11 pages, and staff presentation 11 pages.
Motion to accept the documents?
So moved, Madam Chair.
I was asking for a motion. Okay, thank you. Mr. Hutman, seconded by Commissioner Farmer. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Open the public hearing for tab U. Staff presentation for tab U.
Good evening, Commissioners. Will Ryder, Planning Department. This is a request to rezone approximately 1.5 acres from residential single-family RS2 to commercial general. The owner, applicant Sadler Fernandina, Spurgeon Richardson is the agent. This property depicted here on the left in red, outlined in red, is at the intersection of Drury and Sadler Road, which is approximately halfway between Citrona Drive and the Atlantic Ocean. Here's a closer look at the property. You can see that the property extends, has the requirement. At the time this application came in, it consisted of 2 lots. Those 2 lots have been combined, so if you saw 2 parcel numbers on the application, that would explain why at the time it was received. So it has to have frontage on Sadler Road, on an arterial road, which it does. All right, the land use and the zoning. The land use is commercial, the zoning is RS2, so residential single family 2. So as we've seen with previous items tonight, this is incompatible. It's not developable. You could go either way, so what's one supposed to do? Do you change the land use or do you change the zoning? Applicant has requested to change the zoning, which staff thinks is appropriate because, and I wish I had this colored, but if I can bounce between these 2 slides for a moment. Here's the subject property. The property next to it on the land use map is commercial. The properties opposite, on the other side of Drury, or commercial. And that continues, that would be these 2 lots all the way down to the other district, with the exception of 1 lot that's in Fernandina Beach's zoning jurisdiction. Everything between this development and this development on Sadler Road, with the exception of that lot, is designated as commercial on the land use map. So when we look at it as which one should we recommend approval of, it was clearly depicted on the map that this should be a commercial node. The permitted uses, Your typical commercial uses, retail outlets, gift shops, libraries. See the list there of what's permitted. And then the conditional uses, if certain conditions are met. If they wanted to use one of these, they would come back for a subsequent meeting with the Planning and Zoning Board. It's consistency with the comprehensive plan. The proposed CG zoning is compatible with the current COM flume designation. We just covered that in great detail. CG is intended to meet the retail and service needs of residents in a nodal pattern to avoid the strip development. So if you go back to this map, this could create a commercial node without strip development all the way down to Fletcher. That's the intent of the CG. That's why this zoning is appropriate. One of the reasons why this is appropriate. Now, the ability to create a commercial node and actually having a commercial node, that depends on the development, but it could create a commercial node doing this. Consistency with the rezoning criteria. RS2 is incompatible, the current zoning is incompatible with the COM flume designation. It's intended to be a commercial node. And the nature and degree of potential adverse impacts on the proposed rezoning. The future improvements will be reviewed to ensure no environmentally sensitive lands or historical or culturally significant lands are adversely impacted. Staff believes that this is consistent with future land use map and the land development code. The Planning and Zoning Board did as well unanimously at its March 3rd meeting. Be happy to. I went through some of those slides rather quickly, but I think I explained it when we were on the maps. But if you need me to go back, I'll be happy to.
Thank you. Application presentation. Mr. Spurgeon, I have a speaker card for you, but I'm going to go ahead and bring you up to the podium now for the application presentation. Is that okay? That's fine. Thank you. Yes, sir.
Do you swear affirm the testimony you're about to give this matter is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Okay, please state your name and address for the record.
My name is Spurgeon Richardson, 608 Ocean Club Court, Fernandina Beach, Florida, 32034. Tonight, I represent the applicant for the proposed rezoning change from RS2 to Commercial General, which is consistent with the Nassau County flume. Further, the property is adjacent to and surrounded by other similar commercial designated parcels. And as Will said, if you go all up and down Sadler, everything on Sadler is basically commercial now. I'd like to start off by stating that since the Planning Commission meeting a few weeks ago, I've reached out, met with several homeowners, spoken to them. I met with the adjacent Cape Sound HOA. We had a meet and greet one night with hors d'oeuvres, stuff like that. And from what I could tell, everything went great. They asked, it was a Q&A night, and unless there's somebody here that I haven't talked to, I think all issues were addressed and all concerns were responded to. Moving forward, I'd rely on the following to support the Commercial General zoning request. Number one, Commercial General is aligned with and complies with the Nassau County flume. All goals, objectives, policies contained within the comp plan must be consistent with the flume, and a zoning change as requested would bring the subject property into compliance. Chapter 163 Florida statute states that after a local government has adopted its comp plan, section 163.31941A requires that all actions taken by the local government in regard to development orders be consistent with the adopted local comp plan. So approval tonight of the zoning as requested would be consistent with the policy. The aforementioned and policy FL.01.01 states the county shall permit future development to proceed consistent with land use categories. And that's where we are tonight. Therefore, based on staff's recommendation of approval, the Planning Commission's recommendation of approval, the applicant respectfully requests that you approve zoning request R25-025 as filed. And if there's any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Thank you. I'm now going to call to the podium those who have completed a public comment card to speak on tab U. Mr. Scott Richmond?
Do you swear affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this matter is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God? Please state your name and address for the record.
My name is Scott Richmond, address 1755 Drury. And I missed your meet and greet, sorry about that. I got two concerns. One concern is the lack of infrastructure on Drury Road. There's no real turnaround at the end of the road. It like dead ends. There is a quasi turnaround, but it's on private property, it's on my property. Already I've had to regrade it twice, and that's just from people driving up the road, looking to turn around and head back out. Also, the infrastructure on Drury Road, there is a culvert that goes under the turnaround, and I don't believe that's culvert's been maintained. So it adds to the whole complexity of that turnaround. I'd also like to confirm that the 66-foot right-of-way will be maintained on Drury. It looks from the sketches I saw that a good 4 or 5 feet is going to be taken away from that right-of-way. That's it for me.
Thank you. Do we have any cross-examination or rebuttal to tab U? Yes, sir, Mr. Martin.
Yeah, through Chair,
Yes.
Mr. Companion.
Do you swear affirm the testimony you're about to give in this matter is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God? I do. Please state your name and title for the record.
Robert Companion, Deputy County Manager / County Engineer.
Thank you. I don't know if this was news to you or first you've heard of it. Could you address the constituents' concerns? Is Drury Road a county road or a city road, or what is it?
My understanding is Drury Road is a county road. I have to double check that because kind of a little bit put on the spot, but I'm pretty sure from previous, just looking at that area, that Drury Road is a county road. One of the questions that were brought up just a moment ago, the access would have to be from Sadler because if it's a commercial use, requests could be made to access from Drury Road, but again, that would have to be by request. It's not an automatic right. It would have to be reviewed by staff at that point. So access would be from Sadler Road.
Okay, so, I mean, with regards to infrastructure on Drury Road, I'm not sure what the gentleman was specifically referring to. Had you had a conversation with him before?
I have not.
So, I mean, I don't think it's something that would, right now, I would be concerned about affecting the vote on this tonight. But could you, after the meeting, exchange information, contact information with this gentleman and, let him know, answer any of his questions? Because I don't think he came up here opposing it, really. He just has concerns about his road.
Absolutely. And
Okay.
I will add, whatever comes in the future, I don't know that anything has been submitted at this point for actual plans for improvement. But all of those infrastructure issues, access, all of those specifically to his questions seem to center around would be answered during the staff review, during DRC process.
Okay, I appreciate it. But you will after a meeting.
Absolutely.
Go ahead and introduce yourself. Thank you.
Through the chair,
Yes, sir, Mr. Pope.
I'd like to ask Deputy County Manager a clarifying question.
Yes, sir.
So I just want to clarify, it is possible that if Drury Road is brought up to a specific standard, that access to a future commercial development could be accessed by Drury Road.
It could be by request and by bringing it up to a certain standard.
Well, let me follow up on that. So I would recommend to the constituent, what's the gentleman's name?
It was Mr.
Yes.
Richmond.
Mr. Richmond, be careful what you wish for. I don't know if you understood, if you caught what Mr. Pope said, so just make sure that in your conversations with Mr. Richmond, Mr. Companion, that he understands that.
Absolutely.
That's all I have, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any final comments from staff? Board questions? I'm going to close the public hearing for tab U for deliberation, or I will entertain an motion
Madam
for
Chair.
the approval or denial.
Madam Chair.
Mr. Martin.
Based on the records, evidence, and testimony received, I find that there is competent and substantial evidence pursuant to policy FL.01.02C, policy FL.08.05, and policy FL.08.06A through G of the Nassau County Comprehensive Plan, and section 5.02C and section 5.02D 1 through 8 of the Nassau County Land Development Code, and therefore my motion is to approve R25-025.
Second?
Motion made by Commissioner Martin, seconded by Commissioner Hutman. Madam Clerk, will you call the vote?
Commissioner Gray,
Yes.
Commissioner Hutman,
Yes.
Commissioner Farmer,
Yes.
Commissioner Martin,
Yes.
Chair McCullough.
Yes.
That's 5 ayes, 0 nays. Your motion carries.
And Madam Chair, one thing.
Yes, sir, Mr. Martin.
I don't want anything that I said with reference to the gentleman who lives on Drury Road. I don't want anything to anybody to misinterpret what I said or how I said it as sarcasm. I just want the gentleman to understand, what he may ask for in the future may have an effect on,
All of Drury Lane.
yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's all.
Thank you, Mr. Martin. Tab V, consider and approve R25-026 and ordinance 2026-024, the rezoning of approximately 1.5 acres located on the south side of State Road 200 at its intersection with Palm Tree Drive from residential mixed RM to commercial CG, Church of God by Faith, Inc., owner, Nassau County Agent, District 3. I will now ex parte disclosure as to tab V. Mr. Martin?
None.
Mr. Farmer?
None.
Mr. Hutman?
None?
Mr. Gray? And I have none. Madam Clerk, will you identify the documents to be placed into the record for tab V?
Documents submitted into the record for application R25-26, application and consent form, 10 pages, supplemental staff report, 5 pages, planning and zoning staff report, 5 pages, draft ordinance, 4 pages, business impact estimate, 2 pages, executed planning and zoning motion, 1 page, planning and zoning presentation, 11 pages, and supplemental presentation, 11 pages.
Motion to accept
Move to
the,
accept the documents into the record.
Second?
motion made by Commissioner Martin, seconded by Commissioner Hutman. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed say nay. I will open the public hearing for tab V. Staff presentation for tab V.
Hey, look, it's Will.
Long time no see.
Good evening again, Commissioners. Will Ryder, Planning Department. This is a request to rezone 2 parcels totaling approximately 1.5 acres from residential mixed to commercial general. Usually, since Ms. May reads the owner, applicant, and agent, I gloss over this or skip it entirely, but I will point this out because it was brought up at the Planning Commission. I want to make sure that anybody in attendance might understand this. The owner is the Church of God by Faith. They are the applicant. They are the ones that approached us and wanted us to do this. We are serving as the agent. What you're seeing here, you notice the R25, the 2025 designation for the application. This is the wind down of the properties that have had the incompatible zoning and flume designations. We're coming to the end of those. Like to have already had them done, probably because I couldn't process them fast enough, but we're starting to see the end of that. They had the application in prior to the submittal date, so just want everybody to understand that we're serving as the agent. The Land Development Code allowed owners to be able to do this, and us put the bill on the application fee. All right, this is, you can see here, there's US 17, and here is Palm Tree Drive. And this is the current site of the Church of God by Faith. The land use, I'll explain one thing too. These 2 garish, ghastly-looking monstrosities that I've put on here, these stars, I don't really like those, but I do that for me more than anything. That's red on red, and over here, this is red on pretty close to red. I can't see it, so I think maybe it helps orient us to the site. I've shown those a lot of times. Sometimes they have them, sometimes they don't, so I just wanted to explain that. So you can see the conflict in the zoning of commercial, residential mixed. Permitted uses. This is a point that came up at the Planning Commission as well.
The church right now, it can continue to operate under the current zoning. It's operating under a conditional use that was granted years ago, which is fine. But what you don't see on this permitted use list is everything that's permitted in the commercial neighborhood carries over to commercial general. So this would make the church a permitted use rather than a conditional use. You can take a look at the conditional uses here. The proposed CG zoning is compatible with the COM flume designation. The existing church, the intersection of major arterial and local residential street, it's an appropriate development pattern. And then this one right here, I'll just highlight, CG is intended to meet the retail and service needs of residents in a nodal pattern to avoid strict development. The service needs, if there's parishioners in the neighborhood, they can walk to the church. It's been meeting that historically for many, many years. And if that other case did happen when we looked at the permitted uses and for whatever reason the church was sold their property, which they do not intend to do, and commercial development happened, it would be appropriate development there as well, either way. CG zoning intersection of SR 200 and a local street on the outskirts of an existing neighborhood is an appropriate development pattern. There is no change in compatibility with the surrounding uses. The church has been there for many, many years. It will continue to operate as long as the church would like to do so. The need and justification for the change, we've been over a lot of this with the maps. The current RM zoning is incompatible. The CG zoning, the requested zoning is compatible with the COM flume designation, and it's surrounded by low-density residential uses. It's an appropriate place to have a church out on the arterial road. We find staff at the Planning Commission recommended approval to approve this zoning request at its March 3rd meeting unanimously. Happy to answer any questions. Again, rush through the last few slides, could talk too long during the maps, but if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Thank you. Applicant presentation. That's us. We will now call to the podium those who have completed a public comment card to speak on tab V. I have none. Any cross-examination or rebuttal? Final comment from staff? Board questions? I'm going to close the hearing for tab V. Board deliberation, or I will entertain a motion for approval or denial.
Madam Chair,
Mr. Gray?
as Mr. Rogers said, Mr. Will Rogers, this is a cleanup of timber to tides, and we acting as agent, the county is. So based upon the records and evidence and testimony received, I find that there is a competent and substantial evidence pursuant to policy FL 0102C of the Nassau County Comprehensive Plan in section 5.02C and section 5.02D 1 through 8 of the Nassau County Land Development Code, and therefore my motion is to approve R25-026, Madam Chair.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Gray, seconded by Commissioner Martin. Madam Clerk, will you call the vote, please?
Commissioner Farmer,
Yes.
Commissioner Hutman,
Yes?
Commissioner Martin,
Yes.
Commissioner Gray,
Yes.
Chair McCullough.
Yes.
That's 5 ayes, 0 nays. Your motion carries.
Thank you. General public comment. Comments can be for any items under the authority of the Board of County Commissioners. The time limit is 3 minutes. It's at the pleasure of the board. Ms. Maynard is here. Is it okay for her to receive that proclamation? Okay, I just wanted to make sure that I had, that for the board, she wanted to come up and speak, and they were late, and I know how that 5 o'clock traffic is, so if it's at the pleasure of the board, thank you, Mr. Hutman. I know we read into the record, but I would love for them to have that opportunity. Thank you.
Ms. Robertson still here? No? Ms. Bell, would you mind taking a photo real quick for our, thank you for coming up.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you all so much. Good evening, everyone. My name is Olivia Maynard. I'm a Nassau County Victim Advocate at the Women's Center of Jacksonville, along with my co-advocate, Miss Lori Armstrong. Today, we come together to recognize April as Sexual Assault Awareness Month. This year's theme, 25 Years Strong, Looking Back, Moving Forward, which provides us the opportunity to look at the progress we have made preventing sexual violence and advocating for survivors. For the past 25 years, Sexual Assault Awareness Month has shined a light on believing and supporting survivors and their families while breaking stigmas and educating the community. When WCJ's work first began in Nassau County about 11 years ago, there was only one advocate who persistently cultivated community engagement, built partnerships, and created pathways for survivors to access holistic support. Through that commitment, this effort has continued to grow. Today, we have 2 advocates with large caseloads similar to Duval County, and through that, supporting survivors through crisis intervention, advocacy, and referrals to services. Through a dedicated presence in Nassau County, we have built meaningful relationships with local partners and organizations, offered multiple survivor-centered support groups, ensured that survivors receive trauma-informed services that promote healing, safety, and empowerment. We have facilitated various community trainings that provide education, raise awareness, and strengthen prevention efforts so that individuals and organizations are providing best practices when responding to and preventing sexual violence. Our work has expanded through participation in task forces, coordinated referrals, and sexual violence-specific coalition meetings that bring together community leaders and service providers to strengthen our response to violence. We continue to collaborate with law enforcement, healthcare providers, schools, social service organizations, and community members to ensure survivors are supported at every step. As Nassau County has grown, the Women's Center of Jacksonville has grown alongside it, continuing to expand our services, deepen our partnerships, and strengthen our commitment to supporting survivors, educating the community, and working toward a future free from violence. As we look toward the next 25 years, let's recommit ourselves to building safer communities, strengthening prevention, providing education, and ensuring that survivors know they're not alone and their experience is believed. It is my honor to stand with advocates and community members in proclaiming April 2026 as Sexual Assault Awareness Month. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Miss Melissa Rembowski.
My name is Melissa Rembowski. My address is 431 North Riley Creek Road, Laclede, Idaho. My mother's house is here in Fernandina. My sister and I, well, let me start back. 2021, my mom came up to visit me, and she got sick and died while she was visiting in Idaho. And I had to bring her ashes back home in February after having her cremated there. My sister is 15 years younger than me, and my sister moved into the house. There was a code enforcement violation, and my sister was taking care of that stuff. There had been issues with her putting things in the yard and leaving stuff out that shouldn't be, and it has been an issue. So back in 2023, in June, they had sent a certified letter that was returned. My sister had came to the board meeting in October, and they told her that she had until December 11th or 12th to have everything taken care of. And my sister said that they had done that meeting, and the code enforcement lady, Dee Dee Andrea, had showed a video showing the progress that she had made and things were getting taken care of. And then I guess December came and they started charging $50 a day for noncompliance. The following June, or following July, they put the post notes, the signs in front of the house. Now, when Dee Dee Andrea was working with this, I had called and talked to her. This was like back before that, the thing where they were gonna charge $50 a day, and I told her, look, I live in Idaho, I'm 3,000 miles away, there's nothing I can do. If something is being done with the house, I'd like to be informed. You know, I own half the house. And she said anything that was sent to Whitney, my sister, at the residence, would be sent to me as well. She would keep me informed. This never happened. Fast forward. Last month, I come down here so that we could sell our house. 2 days before closing, our realtor comes and says, "You have a $40,000 lien against your house from code enforcement." I said, "No, there's got to be a mistake because nobody ever told me anything." Yeah. So from December of '23 until a few days after this conversation I was having with this man, it was $50 a day with no notification at all. I live in Idaho. I have an 18-year-old still at home. I have a disabled husband that I take care of. My kid's taking care of him right now. I work. I work as much as I can to pay my bills. But to come down here and all of a sudden find out that $40,000 is being taken out of what we're getting paid for the house is quite a shock, and I feel like it's very unfair. I should have been informed. I should have
Yes,
been
ma'am.
notified.
What's
Yes,
the
ma'am.
address, if I may ask, ma'am?
That Scrub J Lane, is that the correct
Yes,
address?
ma'am.
Okay.
Through the chair, if I could.
My parents
ma'am,
bought
Miss
the
May.
house in 1970, 70 or
Go
71.
ahead, Ms. May.
If I might, this is a public, this is not a public hearing on this matter.
Right,
Um, And
Understood.
she has been explained. However, staff is here who can speak to the issue if you'd like them to speak to it.
Yes, ma'am.
Absolutely.
Is that, we do have the appropriate staff who can discuss this with you.
Through the chair,
Yes, sir.
not to make any promises or guarantees, but if you work with, this happens a lot. If you work with staff, there may be a suitable resolution to this.
There is a process.
And
an
we do have a
ordinance.
process, the chair. We do have a process through a magistrate that hears this along with our staff, and they'll be, that's the best course of action.
Is the home in your name or your sister's name or both?
It's in both of our names.
Right.
But we're not eligible for the lien reduction because the house can't sell with the lien.
Okay, but this is not,
Yeah,
this is general public comment. There, we cannot take action on this right now. So I'm going to ask that you be, I'm gonna refer you to the appropriate staff. I did see him stand up in the back. Thank you. And they will, if there is a hearing required, it will go through the magistrate and then to the Board of County Commissioners. We are legally, there, this is general public comment right now, not a hearing in this case.
Just wanted to know that I feel it's unfair.
Okay, yes, ma'am, and I do appreciate that. Thank you.
Commissioner Martin, FYI, that's in District 1.
Okay.
Thank you,
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Hutman from District 2.
Yes, sir.
Miss Melanie
I'm happy to help.
Fifield?
Sincerely. I mean,
I know, I'm just.
And I know you were on tab in, Miss Melanie, but we'd already closed that and we're on to the quasi judicial hearings
Yeah, I
at that point.
apologize. I
Nope,
was
you're
late.
great.
I had to come from San Pablo Road. you
That's
know,
okay.
So it's quite a haul.
Yes, ma'am, I understand. I just wanted you to know I do acknowledge it was tab
Yeah,
in.
thank you. I appreciate that. So I still wanted to speak on it just for the
Yes.
record. So my name is Melanie Fifield. I live at 720 Old Alachua Trail in Briceville, Florida. I'm a homeowner, nurse, and most importantly, mother. I was hesitant to come to this meeting and speak because my emails on the board, to the board, previously were kind of met with some generic and non-empathetic responses. I have dedicated a 19-year nursing career to advocating for patients, and I now realize that the most important patient lives with me. That's my son, Ellis. He's 11, and he has autism. Your initial road closer just south of my home on Horseshoe Circle caused my son to miss a couple ABA therapy appointments. He gets those in-home through a company. The company will not allow the employee to come and do the 20 to 30-minute detour because that, again, adds time that they have to pay the employee for. It came to my attention the first of the year that there was going to be another planned road closure, and I wrote to each of you urging you to consider a single lane opening. I am standing before you pleading that you again consider a single lane opening versus full closure. With a full closure, my son would lose months of ABA therapy. The literature shows that while intellectual gains usually do not diminish after ABA therapy, symptoms from autism do return to pre-treatment levels. We've made tremendous progress over the last 2 years with this ABA therapy, and I don't want to lose this. I also On another note, have a concern regarding the emergency response times during this construction. Recently, there was a medical emergency for my mother, who is my next door neighbor. You know, per our emails back and forth, it seemed like the ambulance had the standard response time. But my concern, however, would be from the transportation to the emergency room. Currently, it would take 27 minutes to get to the closest emergency room. With the detour, it would be 45 minutes. In critical situations like a stroke or heart attack, time is the enemy. The literature shows in stroke that every 15 to 30-minute delay is associated with greater disability, reduced likelihood of favorable functional recovery, and lower rates of receiving reperfusion therapy. I've worked my whole career in neurology and realize how important getting to the emergency room, particularly a stroke-certified emergency room, is in these situations. I realize the cost and time to move this from a full closure to one lane is high and the time is extended, but the cost of a human life is invaluable. I urge you to make the right decisions for the residents of Briceville.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Miss Jackie Osborne, P.O. Box, I'm sorry, I'm reading the card. You know, I've been reading Miss Jackie Osborne. I'll let you say your address for the record. I won't say it for you.
P.O. Box 16796, Farmington Beach, Florida. Hello. Thank you so much for allowing me to speak tonight. I normally come here with a printed copy of what I'm going to say. It's on my kitchen counter, and so I'm winging it tonight. I'll give you the numbers. We have 3 cats in the cattery, and we have 5 kittens, cats that are out on foster. 3 of those are kittens with 2 mamas, so kitten season is just about here. We got a lot of dogs. I can't remember the number of dogs because it's a bunch of dogs. But this weekend, on Saturday and Sunday, they have adoption weekend, and it is put on by PetSmart. And down at the PetSmart in River City and the one in St. John's Town Center, they're going to have adoptions down there. And the dogs are free, F-R-E-E. You can go get a dog and get it, and it's free. And it's been all the shots, neutered, spayed, chipped, the whole 9 yards. Just, go get you a dog. The last thing, of course, is spay, neuter, and ship your dog. And I heard something interesting, and I'm going to share it with you. Yesterday, I was listening to something, and this law enforcement officer came on, and he said, if you're concerned about people breaking into your house, one of the ways you can maybe put a hindrance to that, put a bowl on your front porch with water, or a bowl on your patio with water. Because anybody that's going to come in that's not invited is going to think you got a dog. And dogs tend to bark, and people that are not invited in your house don't like to hear barking dogs. And with that, thank you very much.
Thank you, Miss Jackie. County manager's business.
I have no additional business tonight, thank you.
County attorney's business.
I have no further business, thank you, ma'am.
County commissioner's business. Any business to come before the board, Mr. Hutman?
I have none this evening. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Mr. Martin?
None, ma'am. Thank you.
Mr. Gray?
None, ma'am.
Mr. Farmer?
This is time to comment. I'm just going to say thanks to Town Manager Mike Williams for being prompt on fixing the dip in Brandeis Avenue. Had several people, neighbors, friends, colleagues say, hey, William, what's up with this big whoop-de-doo in Brandeis Avenue? And it was like a 10, 12-inch dip. And anybody that's been down Brandeis Avenue, and I'm sure a lot of people here in this room have, there was a huge dip there, and it was from where they had done some horizontal boring underneath the road, and it had, I guess, settled out over the years. So anyhow, I went and spoke to Mr. Williams, and I saw them repair that spot this last week. So I'd just like to say thank you for the timely repair. I know that my friends and neighbors and the people that traverse that road appreciate it. And I'd also like to say that thank you for the residents of Briceville for coming out. I'm not on the front lines. Obviously, we work through individual districts out of respect for one another. But I do hear you. If there is a problem, please reach out. I can assure you that, been in on the front end of these conversations numerous times in several different areas of the county. And our first responders and our staff, management. They take, fire safety and police very, very, very seriously. I mean, all the way to the point where, we've considered uncoupling trains. If that, that's been part of our conversation before, and several things that's happened in my district. They're gonna get to you. I know from being a former law enforcement officer that, look, man, if we do whatever we gotta do to come take care of people, you know what I mean? That's just how we do it. We prioritize, we triage, and we're coming. Just, you didn't fall on deaf ears. Work with us, we're doing the best we can. I know it's a huge inconvenience, it's a long stretch of road. But I get to see it, and I think that overall, we're doing the best we can for you. So just stay in contact with us. If you see something, say something. And that's all I have, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Farmer. I second that sentiment. I spoke on tab N. I get it because I live on a dirt road and there is one access in and out, one access in and out. And there have been times, Mr. Pope and I were just talking about back in 17 when the whole spillway washed out and we had to take a huge detour. I say it's the cost of living rule, but it is because I literally sentiment. There is a single loop in and out, and when it's out there, shoot, I've been detoured Kohler's Ferry up to Kings Ferry, and if you've been down Kohler's Ferry recently, that road is a complete washout. And so I am being completely honest when I say this board, our staff are working at their hardest, not just District 4, not 121, but every single road. And I agree with you, see something, say something. Sometimes people will talk about like a ditch or a pothole that I didn't even know existed, If you don't say something, we really can't fix it. And with that, it was a quiet night tonight outside of that, so thank you. Have a great evening.